The ice groaned, then cracked. It was a deafening sound, racing across the frozen expanse of the Larsen ice shelf. My father, Jack Hall, and his colleagues were drilling ice cores, and in a split second, the world split apart. A massive crevasse opened up, and one of his team, Yusuf, slid toward the edge. Dad lunged, anchoring himself with an ice pick, yanking Yusuf back just as the entire shelf collapsed into the ocean behind them. Later, Dad explained it all. The ice was melting faster than anyone predicted, and this was just the beginning. I was 19, and I remember thinking, this isn't a theory anymore. This is happening. In Washington, he tried to warn them. He told the government that the North Atlantic current was collapsing, that it would trigger a series of catastrophic superstorms. They dismissed him. It was just another abstract problem to them, something for the future. But at NOAA, a scientist named Janet Tokata saw it. The storms weren't moving, they were locking in place, feeding on the exact temperature differences my father had predicted. The end of the world was starting, and no one was listening. Meanwhile, I was in Hong Kong for an academic decathlon with my friends, Mira Piter and Matt. The tension between me and Matt was immediate, just constant teasing and jabs. What with Mira? It was different. There were these subtle glances, a connection that was just starting to form. Our professors watched the news with growing unease. The weather patterns defied physics. Then, the world broke. Tokyo was hammered by baseball. Los Angeles was shredded by a swarm of tornadoes. In Hong Kong, we watched the harbor water recede, pulling back unnaturally before it surged back as a monstrous wall of water, tearing through the city. We ran. We ran for our lives toward the Hong Kong Central Library, dodging debris as the freezing water rose around us. I remember Mira screaming, "The water's freezing," and Matt yelling, "Move," as a massive cargo ship crashed through the streets right behind us. We barely made it inside, gasping for air. Then, the temperature plummeted. It dropped so fast that helicopters fell from the sky, frozen solid. I saw people outside turn to ice in seconds. We were trapped somewhere out there. My father was fighting his own impossible battle, trying to get to me. He was leaping across cracked rivers and climbing ice-covered skyscrapers, pushing through a storm that was freezing the world. Back in the library, it was deathly cold. I saw Matt shivering violently and wrapped a coat around him. "Hey, you with me?" I whispered. He just muttered, "Yeah." "Just cold," I told him. "You need to tell me when it gets bad." For a second I saw the same fear in his eyes that I felt. Later, he collapsed, coughing up blood. I rushed to him and saw a deep, infected cut on his arm. "I told you to tell me when it gets bad," I shouted, my voice cracking with panic. Huska sped, I thought I could handle it. We needed medicine, and our only hope was that cargo ship, now frozen in the street. Matt insisted on coming, even though he could barely stand. I tried to stop him, but he just shook his head and said, "I am." And somehow, I let him. On the ship, as we gathered supplies, wolves appeared out of the darkness. They'd escaped a zoo. One lunged, clamping its jaws on Matt's leg. He screamed. We barricaded ourselves in a small room, the wolves snarling outside. Through a frosted window, I saw Etha, eye of the storm. The absolute zero cold that would freeze everything in its path was almost here. Matt looked at me and whispered, "Leave me behind." I just shook my head. No. We created a distraction and made a run for it, limping through the ice, back to the library. I burst through the doors, screaming, "Books add more books to the fire." Later, safe for the moment, Matt and I finally talked. "I was wrong about you," I admitted. He coughed and said, "I was wrong too." Then he added, "Go. Take your chance with Mira." His words hit me harder than the cold. That night, sitting by the fire, Mira and I finally had our moment. "I didn't think we'd survive long enough for this," she said with a small smile. "Neither did I," I replied. As the storm finally died down, a new silence fell over the frozen world. And then I heard it, my father's voice, echoing through the library. "Uma!" I ran to him, and he pulled me into an embrace. He looked at Matt and said, "You kept my son alive." Matt managed a weak grin. "He saved me too." The world was changed, half frozen and humbled. As rescue helicopters appeared over Hong Kong, I looked at Matt. "Friends." He nodded. Friends. Snow drifted through the ruins as the sun rose for the first time. We had survived the impossible together. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.